Welcome back, everyone, to another podcast. We are Stay Humble, Stay Hungry. I am your host, Lucia Alvarado, and I am a biology major. And today we'll be talking about fashion. We will be going into our own styles, what we like to wear, and we will be also talking about social media and fashion, and as well as at the end, giving some advice to people who want to start and get into fashion. But with me today, I have...
I'm Ayin Pingo. I'm a biomedical sciences major.
I'm Miguel Roslan, and I'm a biology major.
And my name is Victor Rivas, and I'm an accounting major.
Great. So to begin with our own style, I want to say that I really started mainly in high school, testing out different styles that I wanted to see. But I think what led into it was the music that I like to listen to. I really enjoyed listening to music from the 70s, the 80s, as well as some of my favorite movies and shows were from the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked their style, and I was like, well, I wanna try to, wear stuff like that because it looks cool, it looks fun, like the accessories and everything. But what about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, definitely high school. We're really young, I feel like, in high school, and that's when a lot of people start to experiment with different kinds of clothing and like looking at different aesthetics and fashion trends. I think that personally I took a lot of inspiration from the media. I think that I did look up to a lot of fashion influencers and celebrities in pop culture. I would kind of experiment with the kind of clothes that they'd wear. But I think in high school, when I was first starting out, I was really influenced by TikTok. TikTok was a big one for me in high school. I would just kind of see what was trending and then kind of dip into it,
Yeah, similar to you guys, I also started in high school. TikTok was a major thing, and I even got Pinterest around that time too. That's when I first got my introduction to it. I would use it, but I wouldn't really know how to use it because I was still trying to find my sense of style and seeing what I feel comfortable wearing. Let's see with my body type, what aesthetic could I give off,
And I feel like I started my fashion style, I guess, in high school as well, when I would because I would always wake up late, and I would always just find the first thing to put on, and I feel like I just went towards more plainer clothing.
Yeah, I think that for me also, right now and leading up to it, I think that for me fashion, well, what I like to wear, my style, I really focus on my mood, how what I want to give off, especially the weather. I think the weather really is an important role, especially but I think, especially now that it's raining, but I think that usually what I tend to go off because of TikTok and trends is baggier clothes, baggy jeans and stuff. But I think how I was talking about mood, I did see this article by the University of Arts of London that had said that clothing and styles, it really helps a person with their mood, their behavior, especially their self-esteem and how you feel that day. It either makes you more productive because you feel good, maybe you don't really feel good, so you just wear that's what's more comfortable, and you're I don't really want to do anything. But for me right now, definitely baggy clothes is my go.
I was reading a few articles too about how I think I saw one by Julia Scott in about 2023, and they were basically talking about how the clothes you wear definitely plays a part in your self-esteem, how you perceive yourself. And I think that that's why when we were, in our adolescence in high school, it was an important thing to kind of experiment with your fashion. And at the time, a lot of us were kind of scared to experiment, but that's when a lot of us started finding what we felt really comfortable in. And like Lucia was saying, I think where you're going and your mood definitely plays a part. I also like to go into current trends, baggier clothes, vintage, and when I'm going to school or something, I will wear more basic clothes, but I'll still wear baggier clothes to try to still express myself in a way. And if I'm going out to more concerts, parties, I'll accessorize more. I'll wear more intricate pieces of clothing to kind of I don't know, I kind of go more into aesthetics that I'm into rather than when I'm just wearing basic clothes at school,
Yeah.
Similar to you guys, I also I love wearing baggy clothing. It's just so useful.
So comfortable.
It's comfortable, And similar to that, I read this poem, a poem, and it's called Dopamine Dressing, and it's just basically about this person talking about their experience with fashion and how instead of them dressing for others, they
Yeah.
ended up started dressing for themselves, and that's when they started feeling more confident with their wore. And that really gave me like a peace of mind, like, oh, this is like something I should take in, this is something I should consider, rather than caring what other people think about it,
Yeah.
what I'm wearing.
And I also feel like it really does affect your attitude and emotion throughout the day. Because if you feel like you have a good outfit on, then I feel like it can really boost your confidence and also like prevent from thinking about what other people are saying about you.
I think that one thing that I like to do a lot regarding like fashion, moving on a little bit about clothing, is accessorizing. I think that those add a lot to an outfit. Like for me, I'm one to really test out on hats, you know, like different hairstyles, as well as belts, you know, like adding small things like jewelry, you know. I think it really plays a big part on helping yourself, like helping express yourself, as well as maybe like you thinking like, oh, this ups my outfit, like, you know, this makes it pop out a little bit, you know.
Yeah, even like I feel like especially for girls, like when you're wearing like makeup, or even guys, you know, when you're wearing makeup, like you can also experiment in that. It'll add a
In
lot to your
colors.
outfit. Yes. And I think that like when you're talking about like clothes, it can also branch into like your hairstyles. You know,
Yeah.
I'll curl my hair if I want to feel a little better about myself. And also about what Miguel and Victor were going into, I think when you wear something that feels like yourself, you're ultimately just going to feel better throughout the day. I think that's why a lot of people, when they wear things kind of like to follow a trend, they don't always feel like themselves. They just feel like
Right.
they're doing it
Like
to,
I have to keep
impress.
buying more of this.
Yeah, and it doesn't like feel as fulfilling, you know.
Yeah.
Like, especially like, you know, coming like finding out your aesthetic. Like, I guess one thing about me is like I really like dyeing my hair, and like that's some like that's a way that I could like
Express yourself.
show in who I express myself as.
Yeah.
Like I read this article about how fashion is basically it's a form of nonverbal communication,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
basically showing who you are as a person without even like having to say anything, because like, oh, like this is what you're wearing jeans, you're wearing
Like you're
you
more,
have color
you're
in
more
your hair,
laid back.
you know?
You're more chill.
Yeah.
Like oh, like it's like learning about that like was like really nice, because I was like, okay, I'm like, this is how people would perceive me, and
Yeah.
see how
Yeah.
Like for me, I feel like I just like to wear simple stuff, like minimalistic, I guess you could say. Is like right now I have a plain shirt on, and I just like to have like a watch. Like I just have the simple Casio just to keep time.
That's great. But I also, wrapping up a little bit on our own style and what we like to wear now that, you know, we gave what we like to wear a little bit.
And I would also like where do you guys like to buy you guys' clothes from?
Oh.
True. I definitely right now I'm more of thrifting, you know. I like to do a little bit of online, see where they got it from, and you know, maybe some stores like Paxson.
Yeah. I think thrifting is important to talk about. I think especially because in social media, thrifting kind of became a trend, and there was like a rise of like resellers and everything that a lot of people were discouraged to buy from secondhand like stores. But I do think that when I was first starting out, I relied on thrifting a lot to find my own style, you know. I think that it was like the easiest way to like spend the least but experiment more. But I do think that it is a concern that like it is like pieces of clothing are getting really expensive in thrift
Yeah.
stores, you know. So.
Like throughout my life, I've always thrifted. You know, just going with my mom,
Yeah.
like on like a grocery store. Oh, let's go stop by the thrift. Like I can remember it as young as I can remember. But I feel like with the rise of trends and the rise of like thrifting becoming more popular, I feel like it's just been more demonized. And like I guess seeing like people our age or even younger in thrift stores, I'm like, oh, like that's my competition. Like I need to find more better clothes than them. And the prices like rising is like.
I mean, do you guys have like certain brands that you go for? Because I mean, me like, I think I do gravitate to more like vintage pieces, but I never really pay attention to the brand name. Like, I see a lot of like Levi's like secondhand pieces in thrift stores, but I feel like I do go more based off like the vibe of the clothes more than the brands.
Right.
I feel like if I'm going to like modern brands, like I'll probably go to like H&M, like Hollister, you know, just to find pieces that are more like basic. I feel
Yeah,
like.
I think I definitely go for like, yeah, when I go to like Hollister or like Paxton, I definitely go for like the quality because I know like
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like these jeans will last like a
Paxton,
while,
yes.
like a long
Yeah.
time. But I think for when thrifting and stuff like that, I don't really look at like the name brands. Like, you know, it's kind of just like, oh, if I think it's cute, oh, I think I can pair this up with like good other pieces of clothing, then I'm gonna want it. Like I'm gonna buy it.
Like completely different what you guys said. Like personally for me, whenever I'm like thrifting, I try to look at the brand sometimes. It's just like to see I guess like the price of it. But it's not something I really worry about. I just worry about how it's gonna look on me, like if it's good and
Right.
actually. And I guess like for shopping, I really like going for like just like basic clothing brands, like you know like
Yeah.
Abercrombie and Fitch, Hollister, you know like
I just
H&M.
got this sweater from Walmart. So I mean, wherever
Walmart
you
has
can
good clothing.
find clothes.
Yeah.
You know.
And I also feel like, yeah, thrifting is good, and like looking at brands is good too, because I feel like the better brands obviously have the better quality, but not all the time. But like me, like I got this shirt from Old Navy, these jeans from American Eagle, and I feel like I just go off of, yeah, kind of like what you guys said, like what's gonna fit best on me.
Is there anything else that you guys want to add on?
I mean, I don't think so. I think maybe the accessories, I definitely go into like gold, but I think that just like a point that like I started experimenting with like other types of jewelry in like my recent years, and I feel like I became more accepting to experiment more. I feel like I was such like a no silver, just gold type person. I wear like gold earrings, bracelets, and you know, I started wearing silver, and I felt like it complemented my outfits a lot more. So it kind of was like, well, like I didn't know. But I feel like just experimenting more, like in my recent years, it really upped my like my sense of style, my sense of fashion. You know, but I think that's it.
Yeah, like similar to you, with jewelry, I started off with silver. Like I had no idea like of gold, and I only started taking like wearing gold recently because like I realized how important it is like for the culture, and especially like in Filipino culture, gold has always been a thing, and it's like that's something I would want to like show off and show who I am as a person.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, well, to wrap up that, I do want to move on to social media and fashion because, as we know, it is a big part of fashion. But also, I really want to focus on some of the negatives of social media, but also some of the positives because, as we know, like, you know, there's a lot of negatives, but there is some positives to the social media. For example, to start off with, social media, a really positive thing for me is that if I really like like a piece of clothing and I want to buy it, like, and I see it online, instead of really like reading those reviews online on the website, I kind of search it up on TikTok. And I'm like, oh, like these jeans, like, or this top, and I see it on different people, and I see the reviews, and I see how they style it, and I like it. Like, I'm like, okay, like, influences me more to buy it because I'm like, I know it's gonna look good, I know I'm gonna like it, and I know the material's good. But what do you guys have to say about social media and fashion?
I feel like social media has done so many good things, especially like it really helped me like find an aesthetic that I really want. I haven't really like settled to one thing because I don't really. I feel like I'm still trying to find it out.
Yeah.
But I guess like my earliest thought of like how social media helped me like get introduced to fashion was like maybe in middle school around like 2019 because that's when, you know, a lot of TikToks are being popularized and that showed like many different aesthetics, like, you know, the disco girl, the e-girl, I'm saying so many girls, like skater boy, like, you know, older brother core, you know,
Different aesthetic.
like it's just like it really has helped, and I'm thankful for that because without that I think I would be kind of lost, you know, trying to find clothes I would like.
And I also feel like it can introduce you to different types of styles that you never even would have thought of if it wasn't for social media. Like you can just find out like, just many different styles that you might end up liking.
I think there's many different outlets as well to social media, not just TikTok. Like there's Pinterest, there's Instagram, there's Twitter. There's a lot of things where one can go on to look, like, you know, it's for social media. Like it's not just TikTok. Like it's like there's a variety if you really look out there.
I think Pinterest is a big one too. Pinterest and TikTok, especially like in our day, like Pinterest, you can always like see photos of like people's outfits before you even buy them.
Yeah.
So like you can make decisions based off of like, oh, I think that this outfit's cute. I might want to buy similar pieces to that, you know? And like TikTok, even though like it does have its drawbacks, like TikTok, like I feel like everyone uses it, you know? Like I'll search up reviews, I'll search up like, and like you hear people's like firsthand experience with these brands, with these items, and it just helps a lot more to like narrow down the search and like think like, yeah, like I think that these clothes like would look good on me. I think that I want to experiment with these kind of clothes, you know? Like social media kind of opens up like more options for you, because like Victor was saying, like there are so many like especially in high school, like a lot of trends that I never thought I'd even follow, like especially like on the more alternative end, like I dressed like with a lot of more darker clothes, you know, like in high school, just because I wanted to like experiment with that. And even though like I still don't you know,
wear lighter.
Yeah, I got like different, I have like a different sense of fashion now. I feel like those like trends really helped me develop it like throughout time, you know. Yeah.
And I also feel like it could be a really good tool when you're looking for certain styles and what fits you, because you can see like there's so many different people out there with different types of body types that you can even find one that has one similar to you. And before you buy something, you can be like, oh, like how does this look like on this person, to see how it would look like on me.
Yeah, like especially on that, like I'm so thankful for the rise of baggy jeans, because I feel like you know, skinny jeans were just so thingy and my legs are like so huge, like I would want to wear something that's more airy, and then finding out of baggy jeans because of social media is like really helpful, because it made me feel more comfortable with my body type and what I wear. You know?
But I think leading on to what you said, Miguel, to move on a little bit to the negatives, a lot of people did, like, I want to say not forget about skinny jeans, but they started to hate on skinny jeans to move on to baggy jeans. Because if we're going into a little bit of social media and the negative now, it's a big thing. It's a really big thing that brings people down to your self-esteem, mainly because I don't know if you guys are aware of the brand Lululemon. Yeah, it's an athletic brand, and I think what had happened was that a lot of people started to get influenced to buy the Define jackets, like, you know, like it became
like a trend.
Yeah, it became a trend to buy the jackets, even though they are kind of expensive, right?
Very.
And but a lot of people bought them, and a lot of people, you know, like I think it happened on TikTok that one decided to wear it with jeans, and they kind of were getting hated on because they were like, that's not how you're supposed to wear it. Like, you're supposed to wear it with leggings, or you're supposed to wear it with sweats, you know. And now I think a lot of people brought down that idea of it, of saying like, oh, you're not, like, since you're not allowed to wear that, and even if you're not in the public media eye, I think it brings down one's self-esteem, because when you're going outside, you're like, obviously people know that that everyone's on TikTok, so it's like people obviously know what's going on with that, and like if you're wearing like jeans and like the Lululemon jacket,
which is crazy. Like if a girl wants to wear a jacket,
like you bought for it.
God forbid you're wearing what you bought.
No, exactly, and it's a really expensive thing. So it's like, who are you to tell someone what to wear? You know what I mean, and how to wear it.
Yeah,
I know.
Like social media does have so much like negatives. Like it's such like a hater idea, like hater mindset. You know?
Yeah.
Like, what were you saying?
Like with the Lululemon thing, like I feel like a lot of people also spend a lot of money on these brands because of trends, and then when this kind of like the company experiences backlash like this, a lot of people who aren't even in the public eye are kind of just stuck like
oh, I'm gonna get like, people are gonna see me like in school and they know what's up, you know what I mean?
And that also does bring up another good topic of like cheaper alternatives, like dupes. I've seen so many like dupes of the Lululemon jacket, and even when people like try to find a more affordable option, they're constantly like being made fun of because they don't have the real thing, you know, which is kind of weird, because I feel like regardless of like a brand, people can just buy whatever clothes they think looks good, you know, like if it's from a different brand, like who's to say it's not the real thing, you know? Yeah.
And I think something to touch on what you guys said in the beginning about self-esteem and like what you wear, I also feel like social media has had such a big impact on people's self-esteem, like what they think of themselves because of what people say about them. And I also read, I think, an article from the American Psychological Association that teens who reduced their social media use by like 50%, I think it was, they actually started to think better about themselves and started seeing themselves in a better way.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I think something we all need to do.
I think that social media too, like, it acts kind of as like a limiting like a limiter to a lot of people's creativity. I think that it shuts down a lot of like what people when people want to experiment, you know,
Yeah.
like they're discouraged because they think that they're constantly thinking like, oh, someone is gonna like think some type of way about what I am wearing, you
Yeah.
know, which is like it's just kind of I don't know. I think that that's a really big negative effect of social
Yeah.
media because although like a lot of people can like experiment with these trends, you know, it also does take away from individuality
Yeah.
and like kind of like being yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, being yourself is like really important.
Yeah,
like-
especially in fashion.
Mhm.
Because like I think that when people are trying to you know keep up with this certain like image and keep up with a certain appearance for other people, it can get so exhausting.
Yeah.
Especially because it's a lot of what other people are saying and you don't even know these people on social media who are like giving input on your outfits. So it's like I think social media kind of ruins a lot of people's self-esteem, you know.
Yeah.
Like runs it to the ground.
But also touching on like the negative of social media, also to bring up another example, obviously Lululemon is still in the topic, but I'm pretty sure you guys saw that, or I don't know if you guys are aware, but after people started buying a lot from them, you know, they became popular, so people wanted to do some research on Lululemon, right? Because obviously it's a trending thing.
Yeah.
So people like dug into it, they found out what they could, and they found out that the owner of Lululemon was someone who was racist, right? Or they said was racist. And this said, okay, everyone said like, let's stop supporting them, let's stop buying from them because like they shouldn't deserve that, right? They shouldn't deserve our money. But now that leads into what happens to the people who did purchase these expensive
Like
items.
they're just stuck with something that if they get caught wearing it, then they're gonna get criticized.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, okay, like now that I bought, like now like I don't have that much money, but I still bought it. So it's like I'm still gonna wear it, but like, are you not gonna get hate? Like, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna feel bad about yourself because people out there are like, oh, like we shouldn't support them. Like not even if you're not in the public eye.
Yeah. I think that's when you really have to be really mindful, be aware of like the issues around like certain brands. Don't just buy into something because you see everyone else doing it. Like it is like your own character. It'll reflect like your own character and like, you know, I don't think it's these people's fault for buying from a racist brand. I think obviously when you see a lot of people, you know, buying a certain jacket and you like it, you want to buy it, that's okay. But then, you know, it does bring up the issue of like you're going to face backlash if like these brands end up not being the best. Especially with like, I think we should bring up like fast fashion. Like when people buy from Shein especially, like there's always like two sides where it's like, yes, it's very affordable and like it helps people feel more included in trends that they want to like buy pieces of clothing that are like cheaper to try to experiment more. But I do think that we need to keep in mind that fast fashion is not very like eco-friendly, it's not sustainable, and a lot of people like in social media like to brush over that just to, you know, keep buying from them.
Yeah, like especially with fast fashion, like yeah, I will admit I have gotten some, you know, fast fashion clothes. Like it's just so like
feel like we all
affordable.
have.
It's affordable.
Yeah, and it's so like quick. But like the problem with it is like it really is like overconsumption, especially with it. And I actually read this article from Alexandra Bernard, sorry. And basically she was just talking about how since it's at such a high demand, they're trying to find like cheaper alternatives and like cheaper ways, like more faster and cheaper ways to do it. And the way they did is like, you know, like synthetic fibers, like, you know, like polyester. I hate that fabric so much. Like polyester, synthetic textiles, you know. And with that, instead of them selling more than what they produce, they ended up producing more than what they sell. And in turn, with all the waste that's made up, they just burn it, and that's like really bad for the ecosystem. Like it can block waterways, you know, it can affect marine animals, and
the pollution too.
Yeah, and the pollution that has like to the earth because of the CO2, like, you know, released from it. And it's just like really scary, like how it has came to this too.
Yeah, it's crazy how fashion really had so much play in it. Like really had an impact in our environment. Exactly.
Yeah, like that's scary. Like.
I feel like also to touch on what you guys said about like reps and like dupes and stuff, I feel like many people do it because they get influenced from social media and they want to fit in. Like they really want to be like, oh, I have this too, so maybe it makes me as cool as you are. And also it also really affects the fast fashion, like what you said, because I think many of those type of factors are in the same area where the dupes are made.
I did also see an article by this writer named Muzin Lee, I'm pretty sure is how you pronounce it. She was going into this term called greenwashing, where a lot of brands will kind of put out misleading information where they're promoting their brand as being really sustainable and good for the environment, when in reality they're not. And by the time that these brands gain traction, they get a lot of attention, the information has already been spread, and a lot of people like will buy from these brands thinking that like, oh, it's okay that I buy from these brands because like it's not hurting our environment, when it is. And like these brands will like make so many different kinds of like clothing like in such a short amount of time, where you know like overproduction does come in. It does hurt the environment. And I like the whole term of like greenwashing. I feel like social media like is like such a huge catalyst to that, because if without social media, like these brands wouldn't be marketing towards like younger audiences. You know, people, especially on TikTok, you see a bunch of fast fashion brands like Shein, like always promoting their
TikTok shop.
Always promoting their clothes without actually giving like a reliable like, you know, talking about like their environmental practices, like, and being truthful about it, you know.
Like what you said, like, you know, shopping on those kind of websites, like I guess when I do shop on it, the main thing I really try to look for is like the fabric, because I'm really worried that 100% polyester. Like what? Like at that point I just like stopped. Like I was like, nah.
Like I think it's a really convenient way to get like cheaper alternatives to clothes that you've been interested in, but it is like we said earlier, it's very important to be mindful about the practices, because you don't want to end up buying from a brand that doesn't even reflect what kind of person you are, you know?
I also feel like another good thing that I forgot to mention about social media is the way that it can bring you exposure. Like I feel like a really good example of this is an influencer named Wisdom K, and how he got invited from the Met Gala to the Met Gala just because social media helped him like put him out there and his unique style, and he has like 13.6 million followers or something. And yeah, he was at the Met Gala, and I seen it on YouTube like posted by like NBC New York or something. I think that that's really cool that just from social media he was able to get invited to such an exclusive event.
And I like on the topic of the Met Gala,
The Met Gala.
actually, well, do you guys know like your favorite year of it?
Oh, I don't have it in mind, but definitely when people were actually creative, like there was the whole like, I don't know if you guys remember like big dresses, like the feathers. I forgot what the theme was.
2018 Heavenly Bodies.
I think it was, yes.
That one was so
and
good.
That I think
Nicki
that
Minaj.
like things like events like the Met Gala, although it might promote like overconsumption, I do think that it like gives people like, you know, these are like famous celebrities. It gives people like a lot of like insight to new fashion trends, you know, especially because like these are huge names, you know. Especially, I do think that fashion gives people a platform to like going into that. Like, I think it is amazing that like these events, like when people are invited to these events, like you gain like, you know, like a title, and I think that it's really cool, but it can be harmful. But at the same time, like these events, like I don't know, I just think that they foster a lot of inspiration for people. But,
and I feel like it influences others to get into fashion and kind of find their own style too, based off of what they see.
I think for the Met Gala though, it's a good thing, like to express yourself. It's a good event, right? But also, although these are famous people and celebrities, you know, that you're like, oh, they still get reviewed, you know, like they still get criticized even by shows, you know, even like they're like, oh, did you see what she was wearing though? But I didn't like how she combined this, that, or how they did it. And I think that also puts their self-esteem down, because they're like, wow, like you sometimes, you know, they work like a whole like year going into it.
And these celebrities are still people.
Yeah, like they work and they put their whole like year into, like they're like, I want to wear this, I want to envision this, like, you know, obviously like the artists, like they're creating like these outfits for them, like handmade sometimes, just for people to hate on them so bad. It's sad. And it's like wow, like something I worked so hard for, like it got hated on a minute, like the public didn't like it.
And people are brutal on TikTok.
Especially like social media, like, you know, like how we're touching on the topic of how like self-esteem has with social media fashion. Like that's like really like one of them.
Especially because it's such a popular event that people want to go to, that people like people wait to review this event.
I don't think
And I feel like the Met Gala, like people criticizing it really goes to show that even if you do wear all these expensive brands and stuff and like try to fit into trends, there's still always gonna be someone to hate. Like there's always gonna be haters regardless. Like I think there was this lady, I think she was like an artist. Her name was like Doichi or like Dolce or something. And she wore like all Louis Vuitton, which people say is like such a good brand, and like a lot of people try to get and wear. But she was even being criticized for how she wore it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I was gonna say, like I don't even think I've ever. I don't know if you're like supposed to watch the Met Gala. I've never
I
like.
see
I've never
outfits.
really done. But
don't
I
really
just
watch
I'd open TikTok and I'll just see a bunch of reviews on
Like
these
Twitter?
people's
Yeah.
outfits.
Like,
Yeah.
Especially this year, I saw a lot of it.
Yeah, and there's so much backlash, and sometimes people do not hold back with the
Yeah,
insults.
I feel like especially like although the Met Gala was like pretty good, I feel like sometimes it is used as like a way to like cover things up, you know, like especially like last year, like you know, to bring up the topic of the Palestinian genocide. I feel like that was used as a way to like cover up like the important things that are actually happening in the world. Like although like it is like fun and like cute to see, but it's just like there should be more important things to like
to
Yes,
focus on and
yeah,
put our
rather
time.
than just like seeing what people are
True.
dressing, you know.
Yeah.
But it is still fun to see.
And I think like people like if you see someone criticizing a celebrity, it just brings your own self-esteem down too, because you're like, if someone as famous and has that much money, like if they can get hate, imagine how much hate I can get.
For doing the same thing,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
They're trying to be different, you know.
I think there was one more thing I wanted to go over. I don't know if you guys know about the brand Brandy Melville.
Mm.
And I just think that there's a negative effect with social media to that too, where Brandy Melville markets their clothes as one size, you know? And I would see a lot of things on like TikTok, on social media, where if you didn't fit into these clothes, people would kind of body shame you, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I
like
think
if
I
you
did
don't-
actually hear about that.
Yeah, and it's pretty. And there was even like a post where it's like if you don't fit through the door or something.
That-
Which was
Okay.
crazy. I just think that social media, like they kind of joke around too much. They don't take it as serious as like these brands are not inclusive at all, and you're still
Yeah.
promoting these brands all the time. And a lot of times people are only buying from Brandy because it's a trend.
And they want to
Yeah.
fit in. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like that has to do with fitting
And
in.
like I feel like a lot of times also people will wear the clothes and they'll be like, yeah, see, like I can fit into the clothes, you know. Like I went to Brandy, I could not fit. Like there's like no there's no small, there's no large. Like
Yeah.
it's
She's
not
like one
inclusive
size.
to
It's
different
not
body
inclusive
types,
at
you know.
all. Yeah.
And I think social media plays a part in kind of hyping up the wrong brands.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, you know, and it does play a part in like people's like, you know, mental health, you know, like if
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because touching on what you're saying, I think that there is also some backlash, because even if you do fit into, like, for example, Brandy Melville's, and people like post in like, oh, where'd you get them? They're like, Brandy Melville. They're like, oh, but that's not how it's supposed to look, or you know, like
Yeah.
people will hate. Yeah, people will hate just because like they're like, oh, that's not what it was made for. That's not how it's
Because of what
supposed to look.
social media tells them too. I feel like.
Exactly,
That's what
because
they get
that's
all
how
their
social
opinions
media
from.
idolizes it to look. Like, what do you mean that's not how it's supposed to look? What?
yeah.
Like, let me wear what I want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But is there anything else you guys want to add to social media and fashion?
I think that was it for me.
Yeah, I think that.
Okay, well, to wrap up that topic and move on to advice for people that want to get into fashion, because although
Yeah.
we're talking a lot of negatives
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
social media, but I definitely think that we should give advice to people who want to get into fashion, you know, like let them be less intimidated, because because right now it sounds intimidating,
Yeah.
right? But I want to start off by saying that one should not be scared to really test out with what they like themselves. Like figure out
Testing
what you
waters.
like yourself, you know, like what you like to listen to, what you like to wear, what you already have, you know, and like just have fun with it, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like going off of what you already, like what you said, like going off of what you already have is really important to building your own unique style as well. Because you can build it off of, like what you already have and just add on to it to just make it more unique and more you.
Yeah. Or like wear your clothes a different way. Like I was going through my closet and I found a bunch, and like my dad's closet, my mom's closet, you know, just things you already have, and I would like mix and match and like kind of like layer things a different way than I normally would, and it already like makes new outfits for you, like
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
without having to spend any more
Yeah.
money on other clothes.
Yeah, like especially I feel like the most important thing is like, since like overconsumption is a thing, I feel like it's so good to just see what's inside your closet, you know.
Yeah.
Like I steal my sister's clothes because
Yeah.
sometimes she has good style, or like, you know, my parents' clothes, like, you know, like it's like it just
Are
goes
they not
to each
asking
other.
where their clothes is?
In my closet.
But also I think that one should like not be scared to try to thrift, you know.
Thrifting,
those
yeah.
are really good pieces that you
Yeah.
can find for cheap, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's okay to test out new colors, you know, different hairstyles,
Yeah.
you know, to branch out of what they see in the public
Yeah.
in the media. Like it's okay to wear what you want to wear, you know.
And what you think looks good on you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see an article, and it was talking about how thrifting is actually a really good alternative, especially for college students. Like,
Yeah.
like when you're trying to save as much money as you can, like trying to look through more affordable options is a great way. I think they even said that thrifting saves students about almost like $2,000 a year. That could be,
$2,000?
Wow.
that could go to
That's
like your
tuition.
education.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And like instead of like buying into a bunch of luxury brands like right when you're trying to start getting into
Yeah.
fashion, like you can thrift, you know, like you can like it's like I know people look down on it because like supposedly like you're I don't know, taking from people who need it more. Like it's okay to like if you can afford like luxury brands at the time to dip into like cheaper alternatives, you know?
Yeah. And I also feel like there's like a lot of people that splurge just because of the brand. And I feel like thrifting can help with that because like say that you buy something that would usually be expensive at the thrift like what like $15, you wouldn't feel as bad if it ends up not being your style, and if you end up
Yeah.
not liking it, then you don't feel as bad to not wear it because you didn't spend that much money on it.
Lets you experiment a lot more.
Yeah.
Especially like using fashion as the way to express yourself. Like that's like such an important thing.
Yeah.
Like me personally, like my dyed hair, you know.
I was gonna say too, like I think like one of the main messages that we're trying to send is to not be afraid of what other people are gonna think. Like
Yeah.
be comfortable in what you're gonna wear. I'd say like don't be afraid to experiment just and like don't be afraid to like try out new aesthetics or different trends just because they're not popular anymore. Like I would say like different colors, like just because like a lot of people like nowadays wear like more neutral toned down colors, like it's okay to like try out brighter colors, like you know, if it fits your complexion, like if you think it fits your overall vibe, like that'll contribute to like being able to express yourself more. Like I think one of the main things in fashion is it's all about personal preference and what you
Yeah.
feel like matches you, you know. Like you don't always have to like dress a certain way to, you know, like don't like change your wardrobe because you think like, oh, these people like they're gonna think I'm cooler for wearing these kind of clothes.
Like don't
that
try
is-
too hard to fit in.
Yeah, it's never
Yeah.
gonna like
Be
help-
yourself.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
help you feel like an individual. Like it's gonna be like you're your own self. And like in my experience, I do think that when I put together pieces of clothing and like outfits that I actually like, and with pieces of clothing that I've like, you know, like I didn't just buy because I think other people would like them, I feel so much better about myself. And I
Yeah.
feel so much better going out because I feel like it just
You feel more yourself.
Yeah, it reflects who you actually are on the inside instead of kind of keeping up with this false persona, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like trying to fit into trends also can produce some type of imposter syndrome because it's not really you. Like you're just trying to be
Yeah.
someone else or other people that you see on
Yeah.
like social media.
I also think that for a piece of advice is that to not really get dragged into the social media world.
Yeah.
It's a really hard thing to stop, for
Avoid,
example, to avoid. But I think one, if like you really focus on yourself, on what you like to wear, just because you wouldn't see other people like wearing like that, or like, oh, maybe like this doesn't go together, but like you like it, so what? You know what I mean? Like you like it, you feel confident, and that's at the end, that's the biggest message. If you feel confident within yourself, then you should be fine.
Like do it for you, not for the other people watching.
Exactly.
Like standing out
Standing
and
out is
showing out,
okay, yeah.
showing like,
Yeah.
you know, like I love just seeing like unique outfits. Like it's just so
Yeah.
refreshing to see rather than just seeing, you know, not to shade all of us because we're all just wearing neutral colors.
Yeah.
But it's just like really refreshing to see.
Yeah, like when
just,
people
on
are
color.
out there wearing like neon colors, I'm like, all right, like,
like,
it looks
wow,
good,
like-
you
Yeah.
know.
As
And
long as
I-
they're confident, then it's good.
I'm
Yeah,
like, you
right.
stand out.
I
Right.
think, and
Beauty.
also, yeah, like going into even personal preferences to kind of give advice to other people, you don't always just have to experiment with clothing, like accessories, like hats, and especially shoes, like
Yeah.
like belts, everything like that. You can accessorize. You can add a lot to a basic outfit. You know,
Yeah.
like you can wear a sweater and like the necklaces or like even like the earrings or anything you wear. It just adds so much more personality to your outfit.
That's more depth.
Yeah, it makes it
Yeah.
like pop out, and especially if it like contrasts the color that you currently have on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think also one should, like, not be like accessorizing. Like one should not be scared to really test out like, you know, different hairstyles, different like, you know, makeup, you know, different colors, different hair colors, you know, like it's fun to play around with your image to get comfortable, like you know,
and like different like textures, different patterns. Like there's been a new wave of like people using like animal print, you know, and I think like
I'm like,
in
that's
like
cute.
in like a like hopefully not actual animals are used
Yeah.
but you know like different patterns, like different textures, like wearing like more like I've seen people wear like fluffy outfits, you know, like with different textures, and that like leather, especially like leather jackets, you know, like
those are nice.
it adds so much like depth.
Like
And
suede.
I do think that when you experiment more, like you need to take a lot of time. Like don't rush into like a certain aesthetic. Don't buy a bunch of clothes to try to fit into one. You can experiment. You can take a lot of time to experiment. Don't be afraid like that people are gonna be like, what's going on with their wardrobe, you know?
Right.
But like
Yeah.
just, you know, express yourself.
I think it brings back us in talking about how we said we all like baggy jeans. You know, I don't think we should hate on people who like, for example, skinny jeans.
Like,
if you want to
People
wear
make
them,
them work.
If I could wear skinny jeans, I would take that chance.
yeah, like that's what
Maybe
I'm
they
saying.
just
Like,
feel more
don't-
comfortable.
Don't be like don't be afraid just because you see everyone else in like baggy jeans. Like maybe this is like what we're comfortable, like people are comfortable with,
Like,
you know.
once
But
again,
if you
with
want to
the
wear
trying to fit
skinny,
in.
if you want to
Yeah.
wear skinny jeans, then don't care what like social media, like the public is saying. If you look good in them, then like you go.
Yeah, I think that I also wanted to add that even though social media does have its negative effects, like we talked about, when you're first getting into fashion, like social media, especially like TikTok, and I think Pinterest is a really big one. I used Pinterest when I was first like starting out with fashion. Like I said earlier, like Pinterest, like you can search up images, you can search up people's outfits before buying them yourself, and it's a great way for people who don't want to spend a lot of money at first, you know, like you can actually make good like well thought out choices and like really think about what you want to wear before buying it, you know. I think like is what a lot of like new buyers need to pay attention to, and like how Victor was saying, like don't start buying from luxury brands just because they're trending, you know, like don't waste your money if
Just
you
because you
might
see
not
other
like
famous
it.
people wearing them or something.
Yeah, and you might not end up liking it, you know. And I've had so much regret like buying like high-end like fashion and then just end up like you don't end up wearing them. Like I was like buying into the whole like wave of like Jordans and I didn't even end up wearing Jordans. And I just had a bunch of shoes lying
And I
around.
feel like they were hyped
And I
up.
felt so bad.
Yeah.
I feel like the price tag also influences some people.
Yeah, like when people
Yeah.
think that like when people see a higher price, like they just think like, oh, like it
Yeah,
must
like,
be
that's
good, you know.
bougie.
And I
And
feel like
even
more
though it's
expensive.
good quality, like you know, it might not be something you want to wear.
Like more expensive doesn't really equal better. It all really just depends on your opinion.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be the one wearing it at the end of the day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anything else to add
I feel
to
like
advice?
Oh yeah. I feel like one more good piece of advice is to definitely have like good fragrances to go with each event and each like kind of theme. Because like obviously like something more in the colder weather would be something spicier, or like something in the cooler weather. I mean the hotter weather would be something more fresh. And I feel like fragrance really plays a good part in your outfit, because if people don't see you, they're definitely gonna smell you.
Yeah, and it does contribute to the whole vibe overall. Like if you like, I definitely like I don't really wear scents like in winter, but when summer comes around, like I want to smell more like you know tropical or something, you know.
Especially because I'm sweating.
Yeah, and it does like complement your outfit, you know,
Yeah.
especially when other people are around you. So yeah, I'd say that.
It's like an aura,
Yeah,
As to the word.
like a good scent aura. I'm like, well, that breaks my neck. Like
yeah,
good
exactly.
outfit and a good scent.
If people don't, if people don't see you and then you walk past them, they're definitely gonna turn around and be like, who's that?
Yeah, I think like, when we're talking about fashion, just feel good about yourself. Like buy into things that you want, you know. Like don't pertain to other people. Like just always like buy for yourself, like what you feel good in, you know.
Right.
Anything else to add to advice?
That's it.
I think I got all my points across.
Okay. Well, that wraps up our topic on fashion. We hope you guys learned a little bit about our personal experience with fashion, as well as what we had to say about social media and fashion. And you guys heard out our advice on fashion.
Right.
Hope that you guys took something in from that. And we hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are Stay Humble, Stay Hungry, and we are ending with.
I am Pingo.
I'm Miguel Roslan.
I'm Victor Rivas.
And I was your host, Lucia Alvarado.
If you are interested in a career in sports broadcasting,
Whether you're commentating a live game, or hosting your own TV show.
For more information, contact Greg Poff. That's me at solano.edu.
We hope to see you here next semester. And remember,
It's more than just sports. It's an education.